Aviation is a nascent industry in Rwanda, but the government believes it has huge potential that it wants to tap into and turn the country into an aviation hub in the region. It is investing in infrastructure and capacity development and has been signing bilateral air service agreements with different countries. These are some of the efforts that we are going to expound in this episode of Doing Business in Rwanda. Welcome. My name is Stephen Muvunyi. The government of Rwanda considers aviation an important part of the country's socio-economic transformation agenda and an essential component in boosting travel, investment, and business. This is reflected by initiatives such as construction of a new international airport, expansion of the national carrier, to mention but a few.
We as the government of Rwanda have planned to kind of invest much into the aviation sector because we see it as a potential sector which could drive our economic development. And by investing, that means you've seen that we're building a new international airport in Bugesera. We have plans to expand the airline Rwanda Air. These are all plans, even Kagera Aviation. These are all plans which aims at increasing and growing the aviation sector in Rwanda.
Improving aviation infrastructure is critical to the growth of the industry, but capacity development is equally important. The Aviation Training Institution, Kagera Aviation, has established a regular program to train locals and ultimately reduce Rwanda's reliance on foreign pilots.
What we are basically doing is that we are training cadets from ab initio, meaning that from the beginning, to fly fixed-wing aircraft. It consists in two parts. First of all, we teach them the theory part of the piloting, and after that we go to the simulator, and after that we do the practical on the real aircraft. So we started the school in February 2018. So it's been a year now, and so far we have 32 students. Most of them are from Rwanda Air. So we are training future pilots for Rwanda Air, the national airline. And it's part of the strategy of the government to ensure that there is synergy between the companies, the subsidiary, being Kagera Aviation and Rwanda Air. We are in charge of actually making sure that capacity building in aviation is actually uplifted, and to close the gaps that is there into that field. You have to understand that Rwanda Air has more than 150 pilots. Only 32, I think, are Rwandan, and we needed to get that number a little bit up. So it's in line with the strategy of the airlines in order for them also to have a much more sustainable growth.
Now, when you grow the aviation sector, when you're investing in the airport, when you're investing in the airline, you also need to equally invest in the capacity building into that. So there's a skill gap because we've not been training people who work on in the sector. There's all of those needs we need to fill. I mean, the gap is there because the sector has not been vibrant, but this time the sector has taken up. We're getting a lot of passengers, and we're building all those infrastructures. It's very important that we fill that skill gap. Yeah.
It's important for the growth of the African industry to not just be fragmented and to be focused on just certain elements like airline growth and things like that. The growth has to be whole in the sense that we have to also focus on areas like skills development. If you're growing the airline industry, you'll have to feed labor demands into that. You have to feed the labor force.
As a landlocked country, Rwanda is strengthening air connectivity with national carrier Rwanda Air currently serving 27 destinations in Africa, Europe, Middle East, and Asia. More investment in aviation could see the country's economy grow even further.
There is a lot of interest that sparks off, and especially for Rwanda, the fact that you may be landlocked, but in this modern age, not being airlocked is actually good enough. And I think it's an area or a sector that could actually fast track our development. If we could invest just like we're doing with Akagira Aviation, companies like Rwanda, ATL, I do see a lot of development coming in Rwanda that would not have happened millennia before or centuries before. But just because now you have aviation, which has not been around for more than 100, 150 years or so. So the fact that now you can actually get over the issue of being landlocked by knowing that you're not airlocked, I see that as a way to break whatever barriers that people think the geopolitical nature may have given us.
Rwanda is positioning herself as a meetings, incentives, conferences and exhibition hub, as well as a global tourism destination, having hosted around 40,000 conference delegates in 2018. The numbers are set to grow even higher, which explains the need to grow the aviation industry.
Rwanda is a kind of a hub, it's a beautiful country, everyone is giving a very good feedback here. So we're happy, and we believe many aviation companies that are going to be settled here. So there is a lot of opportunities. The chairman of Qatar Airways has said it, he spoke everything about it. So I can say from the first aviation summit up to now, there is a lot. If you can see, like 6 companies have already has already invested. This is a very nice growth. Rwanda is very, it is still a small country, but since it is developing services, I could say there is an opportunity. It's profitable because we are going to have a very nice airport. We have exhibitions and a summit that, conference. It's a conference hub now for East Africa. Everyone is going to be traveling to Rwanda. There's a lot of opportunities.
Rwanda has signed over 75 bilateral air service agreements with countries from across the world to enhance commercial flight operations. While the country has many benefits from this, it is also seen as a great market with potential in different areas.
Rwanda is one of the first and is one of the most interesting markets and partner countries that we are looking at. The bilateral relations in the last 2-3 years we're already starting from a very excellent level, but are even further boosting in many different areas, namely in tourism, information technology, services, construction materials. Of course, we are very much interested to many products that come from Rwanda, from the agricultural sector. So this kind of agreement creates that legal framework that is necessary in order to allow all the technical and private partners then to talk and to more easily, let's say, trade amongst themselves.
So we gain economically, in tourism, in business, in our own people, knowing Africa well. So I believe essentially economic matters as well as social and tourism.
In the bid to increase air openness on the continent, the African Union has introduced the Single African Air Transport Market. The initiative is also set to facilitate development of the aviation market on the continent.
There's an effort that is being made. I think there's an understanding across the whole African continent that it's important to implement these initiatives like SATAM. I think there's an understanding and a realization that SATAM is the key initiative to unlock the African aviation market, and there's a real effort that is being made by all the stakeholders to try and operationalize SATAM, and it's very good to see.
It's very bright. We have to do a lot. Like I was telling you, traveling to Kigali took 6 hours, 20 minutes. Hitherto, 48 hours. What more can you expect? So we need to open up Africa more. We need to have open skies. We need to encourage our people to travel, because traveling by air is still the cheapest, the safest, and the best saving of energy and time in travel. So I believe we have enough resources in Africa for intra-African travel, trade, and tourism. So we believe Africans have the solutions to their own problems. Yeah.
Africa is a growing market in the world. Aviation here is taking off, and it's in high growth. And there's a lot of need for unity and to build airspaces that meet one country to another, so aircraft can just fly through, and to increase the traffic as it all grows, as aviation keeps climbing and climbing. There needs to be a more efficient service to be able to do all the transactions needed to make that happen. So technology is coming in all aspects of our life, and that's just another aspect that is coming into.
The Africa's potential, we all know. So we can see that Africa's potential in aviation, the aviation growth, given its population, given its economy, given its trade potential, given its tourism potential. So Africa has a potential. But why aren't we able to exploit that potential, to fully optimizing that potential? Right. What are the solutions in place now? Everyone agreed that single Africa transport market is a solution. Why would a country decide not to open the airspace, not to liberalize the airspace, not to liberalize the industry? Because most of them think that by actually protecting the crossing, they will protect the airline. But one thing which everyone needs to understand is that when an airline is open to competition, it operates efficiently.
Commendable strides have been made in transforming the aviation industry, with the main aim being to promote trade and tourism. Different initiatives are in place and a lot more are in the pipeline. However, the journey is only starting, and the Doing Business in Rwanda team will always be on the lookout to keep you abreast. My name is Stephen Muvunyi. On behalf of the team, thanks for watching.